do you have, Barb? What time do you need to bolt?
Me
Yep.
by 6:20.
Okay. Well, we'll get started. You know the drill. Ms. Metzner does not know the drill. It's
Oh, I just noticed that. Sorry. I'm at my mother-in-law's and jumped on her computer.
Hi, Paul.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
That's okay. Sometimes when Zoom school was going on, I was my daughter. I'd log in and I was her, so people thought that was funny.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't even notice.
So, Paul, I don't think have you been to one of these before?
No, it's the first time for me.
Awesome.
Open forum, ask questions. If we don't have the answers tonight, we'll get them and report back, but it's an opportunity to tell us what you think we need to hear, what we need to know.
Okay. What's the
So-
feedback loop like? I mean, if something's recorded here, how does that information flow out after this meeting?
It depends on what information is requested.
Okay.
So
I mean, is that like a contact via email or is it a phone call or?
it depends. It could be either or both. We will see, and depending on what the nature of the information or the question you have or what information we need to get to. So,
Yeah, I guess you know how to get a hold of me.
yes, I do.
Yeah.
Well, Barb, why don't you go, since you've got a back end, why don't you fire away the first question and we can just go open it up from there.
Okay, out of curiosity, this is a totally different type of question for me here. What's done, and good thing Jody's on here too, what's done to welcome new businesses to Mill Creek? What's the procedure? And what I was thinking of, it'd be nice to have like a group of volunteers, not to put more work on you guys, to welcome a new business. What is done when a new business comes to Mill Creek?
I don't know that the city formally does anything. We do respond to requests. We've been getting a number of requests through the chamber to participate in ribbon cutting. So I participated in one at the beginning of mid-April. Stephanie did one a couple weeks ago, and then I'll be doing the one for Zeke's next month when they open. So I don't know if the chamber, I know the chamber reaches out to new businesses as well. So maybe that's something we could put on our list to coordinate with. I think Shelley Wingard is the one who's been doing that for the chamber.
Because I think it'd be awesome to have from the city, a representative from the city to go there and welcome them, because it's really important to get new business these days, fill up all those empty places.
Well, hopefully we'll have a lot of ribbon cuttings at the farm over the next 6
Yeah, but
days.
that's not, I was thinking, I remember when I was a kid, my mother did Welcome Wagon. Did any of you know what Welcome Wagon is?
I'm from the South, so yeah.
So did they have it down south?
Yeah, like everybody brings something, takes turns bringing something when you move in or
Oh, okay. That's different.
that's different.
Slightly different. Since my mother was a volunteer for it, she concocted this basket and she brought a basket of goodies or whatever to the new, and it was families, but no reason why we couldn't do some kind of thing for the city to welcome them. You know, I haven't thought of it, but have volunteers do it.
We'll let us find out through the chamber what they do and see if there's
Okay.
something we can do to coordinate how we might play a role in that.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that's a really good idea, Barb, and that we can probably work with the chamber to make something happen if they're not already doing something, or join in on what they are doing.
Okay.
Well, let's go down the row and give everyone an opportunity to ask questions rather than.
I was actually going to kind of follow up Barbara's. It's like every business has an equal opportunity to have a representative from the city show up, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, they just need to request it.
Yeah, they usually, I don't know, I'm sure who they put in who Shelley's been contacting, but yes,
So if there's some process that is there like a chamber of commerce or something where they reach out and connect with these business owners so that they know that's an available option for them?
I believe Shelley does. I think they track the new business applications when they come in. And so they reach out to the new businesses and try to get them to join the chamber.
Mhm.
So that was with, I'm trying to remember, I can't remember the name of the business. It's down there by Safeway. And the owner's son requested the mayor to be there because he wanted to know if my Secret Service contingent was coming with me to the opening.
Blowout bar.
Was that the
But
haircut place?
Yeah.
she told Shelley that she would join the chamber if I came to do the ribbon cutting.
And you'll be in the chair getting a haircut?
No, it's a blow. I forget the name. Stephanie, you know what? It's, I forget the name of the business.
It's like, is it the blow bar? or-
Yeah,
Blowout
yeah,
bar.
Blowout bar, like, yeah, I'm not fully,
yeah. Paul, Will, and
The
Scott and I
fashion loop
would
either.
not be frequenting that place. It's a nice place, but it's not for us. Will, what's on your mind tonight? Did you have any questions?
Well, I was kind of curious. Are you guys familiar with the condition of Trillium Boulevard there by the middle school? It's getting kind of ratty.
Which part? Right there
Um,
by the turn into the,
Where they turn in and just a little bit beyond. I've communicated with Public Works Director a bit, but I've never seen anything too much concrete other than he's going to be putting a proposal forward later. I don't know if that section of the road can withstand another winter.
Hmm.
I drive it about once a week.
is it on both sides or on one particular side?
In the middle, on more towards the middle of the road as you go by the middle school entrance. And then where they stop to make the right turn into the middle school entrance, it's also getting those alligator type checks. My last communication with, I just can't remember his name. What's the-
Matthew,
Huh?
Matthew,
is it Matthew or Director Todd?
Matthew.
Director Todd, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, Director
Yeah.
Todd.
It's
I go to
amazing.
Matthew.
No, I've never talked to Matthew.
Okay.
And he did indicate that he's training his people up to better patch roads and stuff like that. He was going to be working on a proposal for more of a detailed program for repaving roads. But after looking at the last couple of financial reports, it seems to me we have plenty of REIT money. And we got about 2 million in the road funds. So I don't know if we actually need a road paving fund or whatever Mike is talking about.
Oh, we haven't had an update on Paul's favorite topic, the road
I wasn't even
preservation.
gonna say it, Brian.
I know. Wasn't gonna pick that scab, right? But yeah, we'll put it on the list. We'll follow up with Mike and see what's going on. But we haven't had, I think the pavement preservation got put on hold due to COVID, so I'm not sure we've done anything over the last 2 years. So we need to
Not
get an
much.
update on that.
They've been
You know,
very
they
good
feel-
at patching potholes and stuff.
Yeah, they've been doing that. If you put in tell them about a pothole, they fix it. At least they have.
No, but
take
the
care of
city
that.
has a more comprehensive program for going in and redoing streets at certain points. So we had at some point a schedule that laid things out of what was going to be done when, and I think that all got put on hold with COVID. So we need to dust that off, figure out what's going on.
So I had a follow-up to the Trillium. I guess that's the school, that's the road that goes by the middle school entrance.
It's right where I saw you and Angela the other morning.
Yeah, so when we walk up that street, the first neighborhood on the left, I believe is it Sunrise or Sunrose?
As you're heading away
Heading
from the
east.
school,
Heading east.
oh,
past the
heading
school.
towards 527.
No.
No, heading the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your other east.
on the left.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
On the
one
left-hand
of the sons. I just don't remember which one.
yeah, it's like Sunrise or Sunrose, but we've noticed that there is some type of seepage that's coming out of the property that has a oil like glisten to it.
Huh.
And we've wondered if that is some kind of leftover residual from what was there before the neighborhood was built. But there's a definite oil sheen that comes out of the ground there. and it gets into the street and it heads right to the storm drain.
Hmm. Well,
And I've been meaning to take pictures of that. I was going to send them to Scott or to you as we walk by. It's very noticeable, especially when it rains, and it's a pretty high volume. It's been going on for at least 2 years that I've noticed, because we walk by there all the time. But I was wondering if that was something that should maybe be looked into.
yes, it should.
Yeah, just from a
I bet you someone
environmental.
tried to bury his engine oil.
Yeah, that I wonder, well.
It doesn't
well,
look like engine oil. Engine oil, there's a different sheen to it. This looks kind of, to me, like it would be something more concentrated, like either, I don't know if it's like a crude oil or a diesel or something, but it's definitely got a much more brilliant sheen than oil does to me.
Okay, we'll look into it.
Yeah.
That sounds like a task for Matthew.
And I'm happy to meet anybody out there too.
Okay,
If they want somebody out there, I'll definitely take the time to do that.
okay. Barb, you're getting close to when you need to leave. Other things on your mind?
A couple other things. Out of curiosity, I was trying to find the calendar for the council meetings and I couldn't find it. I went through about 4 council meeting agendas, couldn't find it this afternoon. So do you know when you're going to be starting to discuss about the DRCC? Because I got a couple of things on. in
I will
regard to
probably know, we will probably know better tomorrow afternoon. We've been talking about, Karen is working on putting together a plan for the rest of the year, and I'm just not sure which date in June she's going to present that to us.
Okay, okay.
But I believe it's in June, but that's, well, I'll find out.
Okay, in regards to that, are you thinking of hopefully doing another survey to get,
There's going to be more public outreach. What it will be, we're not sure yet. That's part of the next steps with Karen, is to figure out what the plan is and the
Okay.
timetable, and well, there will be input. I just don't know what form it will take, probably all of the above.
okay, and hopefully they'll find with, I don't know, Jody and Scott come up with some ideas too of how to get more responses than what we got the first time. I know that John had mentioned way back before we did the first one about the postcards to get, to send to everybody in the city, every household in the city, to get them to respond, because there weren't, I know she was thrilled with 1,000, but it'd be nice to get a lot more than that to say what it is. It's sort of a follow-up. When I was at North Shore Senior Center yesterday, because I'm going to be teaching a couple weeks there. She was the instructor that I'm taking over for was commenting about what a beautiful gym that's at North Shore. And then she said, "Oh, what's it like in Mill Creek?" I'm like, "Oh, you really don't want to know. It's too tiny." "Well, do you dance there?" No. It's way too tiny. So I figured, okay, got to get more people to respond. We need a big area in this building to have activities. So that's my
I
take
think
on it.
we've heard that loud and clear, and I think there's some consensus around that. So how it fits in remains to be seen, but
Right. Yep.
Well, are
Paul,
you,
Will, go ahead.
Barbara, are you saying you're looking for something that's bigger and better than the existing senior center, and you wish to abandon the existing senior center at the farm?
Have you been in that teeny room?
It was
So-
free.
Yeah, but it's so tiny. I can't
Well,
do it for dancing. It's not enough room.
who needs to dance?
Seniors to stay healthy and anybody, have all kinds of kids dancing there for classes, you name it, just any kind of fun activities.
Okay.
Need a big room.
I'm
Not
just,
that-
Barb, I have a question for you.
Sure.
So when you were in the City Hall North, when it was upstairs, so did you guys just utilize the large community room for that kind of thing? Or where did
We
you?
were downstairs in the big community room, not
Okay.
upstairs. I could not stand that room with no windows and carpet. Carpet's not terrific for dancing. So we used the room downstairs with the great mirrors and could see outside. And that worked okay. It wasn't fantastic, but it was a lot bigger than what's at the senior center now.
And so is it always the case that the senior center location has to be connected to like where the business happens? Meaning, could the seniors still utilize the large community room during the days if it wasn't being used in our current facility? I'm just wondering.
It depends upon the city. The city sort of said, you're done back then when we were sort of moved out, because now you've got your new beautiful senior center. So they were going to use the community room for other things. So,
Okay.
and I used after, because I couldn't do it there. So I used the Grange. And now if I need to, I can use North Presbyterian Church, but they always, I don't like the North Creek Presbyterian Church. I don't like the location. I just, crossing that road is not the best of things, but it's okay. It's, at least it's plenty big enough, plenty big enough. I
You're
love
talking
being
about-
at the, and so did the seniors, love being at City Hall North because it was nice and convenient for them.
Have you talked to Venture Church?
Have I talked to what?
Venture Church about whether there's.
No,
space for
haven't talked to
rebuilding?
Venture Church. No. The senior center sort of they did the contacting and found a place. And so they didn't, and of course, when we first moved, Venture Church wasn't done.
Yep.
So I have no idea. And what we use, I believe, is for free for the seniors. So I don't know, but that's something could look into.
Okay.
Okay.
Others?
I have something,
Yeah,
if Barbara's done.
I'll let you go because I can always ask next month. It's
Okay,
not going anyplace.
all right. So I think, as you know, my wife and I walk around the neighborhood quite a bit. We're very excited for the Buffalo Square development, Mill Creek Annex, or whatever you want to call it. But one of the things that we've noticed is when we try to walk there from our neighborhood, we come out, I guess it's Silvercrest Drive, and we would have to walk all the way down to the corner of 132nd and 35th to cross, instead of being able to cross near Pacific topsoil and enjoy the nature path that walks along that way that I'm sure the city had some involvement installing. So we're wondering if there's going to be some type of a crosswalk installation there so that we can enjoy our walk through the nature preserve instead of being battled with the traffic along 132nd and 35th.
yes, at some point there will. The first step, though, is part of the development agreement. Ryan Patterson, the developer, has to do a traffic study on 35th. And so that is one thing we've talked about quite a few times. Because, I mean, coming from our neighborhood, it's a mile from 148th up to 132nd. And there's going to be people walking from those, or from Red Cedar or Brighton, those areas. So unless they cross right there, they're going to either have to jaywalk or walk all the way full mile up to 132nd. So yes, that is something we've talked about. And I believe we put something in the CIP to study that and potentially fund that.
What's a CIP for us rookies?
Capital improvement plan.
Okay. So it's not going to be, it's going to be a proper crosswalk, not a bridge or anything that was proposed back in the day for the low income housing off of 132nd that crossed near Rite Aid.
Oh, that.
Remember that?
There wasn't yes, I do remember that.
And has that actually, that's another question. Has that been kind of squashed? Has that gone away?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
good. That would have been a colossal waste of money.
Well, we didn't cause the problem, the county did.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
So-
and Paul, when I was out doorbelling last summer in that area, I had multiple people tell me that they really want a crosswalk over there, and I had mentioned it in our council meetings since then, that because that was one of the things I heard over and over again over there, is that they really need you guys really need a crosswalk to be able to get across over there. So that's definitely on top of our minds as
Yeah.
well.
I think it's the concept of build it and they will come, but they have to come safely.
Yes.
Right. You know, let's think ahead and get that installed quickly so that, you know, we can enjoy that new place that we're looking forward to visiting.
That
Yep.
would,
Aye,
Bye,
Bye,
Barb.
Barb.
Thanks-
Have a good
thanks for
night.
joining us.
aye.
that would be an interesting crosswalk there because of the high speed of the traffic. and
Traffic.
people having to slow down.
There's ways to deal with that.
Oh, yeah.
Flashing yellows, you know, to alert people to slow down.
Yeah, if
before
and
the
when
person
one is
actually
put
gets
in,
the opportunity to cross.
if and when one's put in, I envision it would be the whole enchilada with the lights and the, not just a marked crosswalk, it would be one of the lighted, I forget what the
Mhm.
technical term for them, but it'd be the full thing.
Yeah,
Pardon me.
I've seen that done in other areas, so I know it can be done.
Well, it's not too dissimilar to what the county put in down by Tambark Park, where they put
Yeah.
two of them within about 150 yards of each other, just
Right.
south of town.
Oh, hey, and big props to the crosswalks that were installed near Jackson
Yay.
with the lights and all that. I have noticed one thing that I have noticed, even though the curbs have been painted red, there are some people that ignore that. It tends to be after school hours, like the people who are using the fields in the afternoons. So I don't know if that, you know, that tends to be something that kind of gets brushed under the rug, I think. Parking issues near the school. I've noticed that in many years that, you know, they have markings, but, you know, people ignore it and there's absolutely zero enforcement. And I think that it kind of gives the opportunity for, you know, since it is a new, fresh, striped, very boldly marked with red curbs, that it'd be nice if somebody would roll through there in the afternoons, and if there's an infraction, it would be nice if they engaged and try to educate some of the people there that it was done for a reason.
Yes.
Train them early. Train them early.
Right.
No, this is good input. These are the types of things, one of the reasons we want to do these, to hear this type of stuff, the stuff that we don't see, that others see when they're out and about in the community.
Right. And you know me, I'm an advocate for our community. Or I try to be anyway.
You are.
Hey, I double checked because I had the map sitting here, so I had to dig it out. So that is Sunrose over off of Chile.
Sunrose, yeah.
Yep.
Thank you,
Yep.
Stephanie.
You're welcome. I knew I had the map from last summer in my bin somewhere, so it comes in handy sometimes.
Is there any updates on the new fire support? The motion passed, or the bill passed?
The annexation was approved. We had a meet and greet with the commissioners from Snohomish County Fire at our meeting. Was it last meeting or the meeting?
Yeah,
Last meeting
Last meeting.
on the 10th. And so there's been some discussion with the chief about having the council over to the headquarters for South County to actually see some of the bells and whistles and the toys, and they'll be serving us. So yeah, that transition will be underway. We still get service from Surfer until the end of the year, but the transition is underway.
Great. Is there a target date for when that's done?
Well, there's not a target date. There is a date. January 1st, 2023, they will be providing service to Mill Creek and staffing Fire Station 76.
Okay. Is that like as midnight rolls over to 12:01 type of deal?
I believe so.
Cool.
Did they retain all the existing firefighters from 76? Does anybody know?
I do not know.
Okay.
I do not know.
I don't know how it's not, probably not that critical anyway. They still have to man it, so.
So another thought that just came to mind. I did hear about and was excited to hear the Silvercrest Park will be getting a facelift.
Yes.
Is there any projected timeline for when that? I know it's like in the summer, but is there like a defined project plan for when that's going to happen?
Great question. I was thinking there is. It's just Brian started looking at something. Maybe he's trying to look.
No,
it up.
I'm writing down a note because I do
Okay.
not know. I know it's on the plan. I can't remember exactly all that we're doing to the park. I don't think it's like, I don't believe it's developing a new park like we did Exploration Park, but I don't remember. I don't remember what the scope of the project is.
Yeah, I think I heard resurfacing, reducing the footprint, new fencing, potential of landscaping, maybe some parking updates. I don't remember it specifically, but I know that there are many people in the neighborhood, as I've shared just a little bit that I've heard, are very excited for that news.
Yep.
This is Scott. Can you hear me, Paul?
Hey, Scott.
Hey, no, I was just going to share, managing the Parks Board. So they have shared quite a bit of information with us, but you pretty much nailed it there. But one of the bigger options too is that the city is going to put up a new fence that borders the residential properties there. That fence has been dilapidated for quite a while. So that'll be a good upgrade for sure.
The wood fence?
Along with, I'm sorry?
Is it the wood fence?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And last time we were out there, we actually chatted with those neighbors as well that are to the south of it. So
Eric and Katie. Yep.
yeah, and as far as I know they were asking about the parking and situation. It turns out we cannot do anything about the parking. That is the minimum allotted parking that has to be there. So unfortunately, that can't go away. I know it's always an issue for those that live in that cul-de-sac. For it's a place that people we don't hang out with go to.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, it's getting some really good upgrades again, like that. The sport court will be broken up, brand new surface, pickleball, badminton, basketball. Should be a really great pocket park, I think.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah, there's a new generation of kids that are starting to appear in our neighborhood. And it just reminds us of the times of our little bundle of joy, learning to ride our bike down there and all that stuff, and to see it get refreshed so that other folks within our community can enjoy it. That's kind of, it's exciting to see.
I had a comment on pickleball or whatever they call that. My neighbor in the back of me put in a sport court some time ago, and they were out there practicing pickleball the other day. And that has got to be the most nerve-wracking, annoying sport, if you call it that I've ever heard. And I was wondering, what is the city going to do to somehow control such an annoying, nerve-wracking sport, times of day, etc.
Well,
Anybody?
that would be our noise ordinance, whether they're violating it. And I'd also check the MCCA's, your CCNRs. Very well have something in there that could be enforced through your HOA.
Yeah, they just updated that, and that was interesting. Listen to the attorney. They used to have a noise ordinance in their covenants, but they eliminated that and are falling back now on the city ordinance, as I understand it. And so I think the city ordinance requires 3 complaints within a specific period of time, etc. at least last I heard. I had years ago, we had a barking dog problem about 1:30 in the morning. So I called the 911 and cops didn't show up. So I called again and they said, "Were you expecting contact?" And I said, "Sure." So your former police officer, Sergeant, can't remember, he quit a while back, showed up with a copy of the ordinance, and it's a rather, shall we say, a rigorous process to get action on that.
Well, what I suspect, I'm not sure they deferred to the city to enforce it. I suspect what happened is the CCNRs for MCCA were probably created before the city incorporated. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
once the city incorporated and finally adopted an ordinance, they may not have been consistent. So I suspect, don't know, but I suspect that what the MCCA did is said, we're going to adopt the standards of the city noise ordinance.
That
so
they
that
did.
It could be enforced either by the HOA or it could be enforced by the police, by the city.
Probably so, yes.
And I think even then, the police turned it over to Officer Pragat to deal with.
Who?
Officer Pragat, she's the police service support officer.
Oh, yeah, the dog catcher.
Yeah, so that's generally her realm of management. The average police officer doesn't seem to tend with that kind of stuff, based on my experiences.
So, Mr. Nelson, there are plenty of pickleball courts in the backyards around the area, but do you happen to live in Heatherstone?
No, Red Cedar.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there are plenty then. Yeah, I know a few friends that have put some in recently as well. So it can be, yeah, it's kind of loud. Maybe badminton would be much quieter, I guess.
They haven't played badminton back there yet, but we'll see.
Well, a little trivia for you is that the pickleball lines are the same as badminton,
Ah,
right?
I did
we
not,
just play badminton in the street, so in front of the house.
Bring back lawn darts.
But we make lines with chalk and just make it up.
lawn darts, that sounds kind of dangerous.
It does sound dangerous.
Don't you remember those?
I hadn't thought about them in years.
Yeah, I figured you probably would remember them.
They were really dangerous when they originally came out because they were big, huge darts. Now they've rounded the tops of them, so they're not as dangerous anymore.
Yeah, they're soft.
Yeah.
Are they now? Well, okay.
Well, anything else on your minds?
Not here.
I've got a long list. This is one of the longer lists we've had from one of these of things to follow up on.
I know.
So part of the follow-up, Paul, might be not just someone reaching out to you, but probably just as part of our report next week, we'll probably report on the issues that were brought up and just touch on what's being done or give some quick response.
During the council meeting?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll add one more then, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So I have been in touch with the interim city manager. I continue to have concerns about code enforcement and the lack of. I know that they're trying and they've hired somebody recently to tackle and address these things, but there have been some issues that I submitted back in January that still aren't resolved. The tickets haven't been updated. There's not a lot of information. And even in my opinion, the letter that went out originally was not really much of a directive. It was kind of, I don't know, it was just missing an action, I guess, is kind of, it kind of provided some information, but it didn't really define the appropriate action to take. And so even though they received a letter, it's been 2 months and it hasn't been resolved yet. and I, talking with Martin, he said, we've been busy with the fire work, the fire switch over, the fire support. And I understand that we all have different priorities. But at the end of the day, the way I look at it, I pay a lot of money in taxes to live here. And I have certain levels of expectations. And when city code is clearly defined and it's not being enforced, it starts to make a bitter taste in my mouth. So, if we could get a little more action taken and just, I always say, be a little more proactive, but I'd just like some of these issues to be prioritized and instead of kicked down the road. It's been months.
No, I agree. We'll follow up on those. And I mean, this is the type of input that we need. I mean, we're getting the city back to being fully staffed so we can evaluate how we can address those types of issues. And if there's something lacking, it's budget year. And so we can have this discussion in the fall if we need to provide staffing to deal with something like this. But we need to hear from the public if this, need more input saying we want this done. I remember you saying either enforce the code or change the code.
Exactly. Put
Don't
up,
have
shut
it as a
up.
code. If you're not going to enforce it, don't have it on the books.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So we'll follow up with Martin.
Thanks. I actually tried to set up a meeting with him last week. He wasn't available. Said Friday. I sent him my availability, and I haven't heard back from him. And it's tomorrow's Thursday, and I provided several options for timing, and he hasn't reached out. So, and that kind of comes from one of my other neighbors. It's like they have a situation in their neighborhood, and they're all fed up with it, but they don't contact the city because they feel like it's going to fall on deaf ears.
What's the issue?
It's an Airstream camping van that is parked not normal in a driveway. It's like parked against, like across the garage,
Perpendicular
to the garage. It's plugged into power. It has a satellite dish on the top, and it's been sitting there for 6 months. And that one was turned in quite a while ago in January. And Tom decided, he said, it's just a van with windows. I'm not going after that one.
it's
And
okay,
so
well,
I sent that one to Martin, and I said, this is not a van. This is an Airstream, which is a known brand of a motorhome. And I even found a posting for it on Facebook where they were trying to sell it, and you could see the pictures of it. So very clearly it's a livable thing. It's not a van. And it hasn't been dealt with. And so the neighbors
Okay.
are all fed up with it. They've been living with this since January. And so I said, hey, I know you feel that the city may not be listening, but I'd like to set up a meeting with Martin, the city manager, and have you two connect to show that they actually care. And this is what's happened. I mean, it's, I tried to set up a meeting with him, and it's been ignored. And I've sent, like I said, many opportunities to meet, and nothing.
Got it.
So he's kind of proving my point.
We're on it.
Yep.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you could see her calling on you.
Okay. There's an article in the Herald that some type of committee is going to be reformed and going to meet first part of June or first part of July. Sonoma County type thing on population densities or something like that.
No, it's the Housing Affordability Regional Task Force that Dave Summers set up
Okay.
3 years ago that I was the city's representative to. And he has reconvened it. We had an initial meeting a month or so ago, 6 weeks or so ago, and they're having the second meeting in January.
January.
It's June, I'm sorry, June 3rd or June 5th, something like that. Very beginning, first week of June.
Okay.
Well, you know, I really appreciate the opportunity to come and chat with you guys. I think this is really great. So thank you for setting these up.
Yep,
And
you're welcome, Jane.
I'll I'll try to participate more in these because I think, you know, I care about our community a lot. And also joining the city council meetings when I can, because I think those are very valuable and I appreciate learning what I can.
Well, we need to know when stuff isn't going
Yeah.
right, so we know what we need to do. So we've got a good list tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank
listening.
you.
Thank you. Anything else? Anything from you, Will? Anything more?
No, I haven't got anything more. I think I'm going to sign off here and
Okay,
we'll see you guys next council meeting.
sounds good. Thank you, Scott and Jody, for taking your time
Thank you,
tonight.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Have a good night.
Talk to you later.